I never liked smoking, but I was always surrounded by people that loved it. The biggest potheads. Smoke every day, smoke every morning, smoke when they're happy, when they're sad, when it's raining, when it's sunny. Like, life wasn't worth living unless you had a joint. Those kinds of people. But I grew up in a house that thought everything but water was poison. So I was always interested in the stuff that I wasn't allowed to do, and grew up in a really pot heavy environment. Everyone was smoking secretly, and I'm Canadian. So a couple of years after high school is when it got legalized in Canada. So it was even more everywhere. There was shops and people could do it openly, and where I'm from, like, backwoods are a big thing. So it's like the tobacco and the joint and the weed. So I would try. I remember the first time I smoked, didn't really feel anything. Thought it was me, kept trying. Wasn't I didn't love it, but I would try, and I would try buying my own weed, and I wanted to be like a girl that could like roll, and I couldn't understand how to do it. Like, even drinking, because I only started to really drink when I was a little bit older, and mostly like once I left home. I just like didn't understand how to drink for a couple of years. And I think it's the same thing with smoking. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And there's a way to everything. There's your personal way to everything, because, some people can't have tequila, and some people can have mixed drinks, and some people can't have, I don't know, shots. You learn what works for you, but you also like learn how it works in general. Like, you start to understand drinking culture in your city, in your country versus Spain or like the States. You understand how a keg works, etc., etc. So with smoking, I like just could not get the handle of it, because eventually I came to realize like this shit doesn't work for me, and I'm not having the experience that everyone else is having. People would be, laughing, and like they're all euphoric, and they're in La La Land, and or it would relax them and help them chill out. I had none of that. If it did hit me, I would get extremely paranoid and weird and cringy, and I hated that feeling. Like, I'm an anxious person, but I'm not a paranoid person. I'm not like afraid of anything. And I live this sort of life where I can't be. Like, I'm a single girl living alone, and I've been living alone for years. And I've worked really weird, crazy jobs, and have been in really weird, crazy experiences. If I was a paranoid person, like, none of that would have worked. So when I would smoke and I would get that way, it was really scary for me. And I remember the first time I ever tried hitting up, the first and the only time, because it was so terrible. It scarred me like nothing else. I had absolutely no desire to try again. And I just greened out so bad. And I was with a bunch of people that didn't give a shit about me. They weren't, like friends. They were like people that I could kick it with. And I've been lucky, like the friends that I have, they honestly care about me and they take care of me. So when I'm around people that don't, it's a very big contrast. So when I greened out, and I was just trying to survive, and it was the scariest feeling ever. Honestly, it was like I went into the sunken place. Like, in the way that in that movie they portray the main character like sitting in the chair, and his consciousness literally falls back from his eyes into himself, and he's like falling through space, and it's not fun. It's a terrifying feeling. That's what I remember feeling. I was like in a room with all these like people playing FIFA and smoking cigarettes inside, and I remember the girl that I came with like blew smoke in my face, which is so fucking rude in hindsight, but I was so high, I couldn't do anything. I was just trying to sit there and not freak out, I guess, not melt away into nothing. And After that, I never wanted to hit a bong again, but I would try. And I've greened out maybe once or twice after that. One of the times was, I think I bought edibles off of some websites, so I did not read the dosage properly at all, ate way too much, and again, it was like I went into the sunken place. This time I was with a friend. She also greened out, and I remember us laughing, looking at each other and laughing, laughing until we were crying, but I didn't want to laugh. And laughing when you don't want to be laughing is actually one of the most terrifying experiences ever. And I remember looking at her and being like, I don't want to be laughing right now. And she's like, I don't want to be laughing either. And we couldn't stop. It was so scary. And she later told me that her experience was like she felt like she had died and she wasn't sure if she was like living real life or this was like life after death for a couple of days after. She like never told me that until like months later, but terrifying. And throughout all of this, my biggest problem wasn't even the weed, it was the social pressure. I think I had realized I didn't like this stuff and I didn't understand this stuff. And clearly, like, it wasn't working for me the way it would work for other people. You know, a lot of people would start out having really fun experiences and then eventually come to hate it. I never had the fun experience. I hated it immediately, but so many people around me that were important to me smoked, so I just didn't want to be the odd one out. I didn't want to. I have this like, huge problem. It's like my core OCD fear about being lame, like social rejection, I guess. And this fed into that. The fear of if I stop smoking, then I'll be socially isolated and rejected, and I'll be more of a loser or something like that. And it's an irrational thing, but it controls a lot of my actions. So I kept trying. And then it was like COVID. I ended up working in a lot of weed shops, like legal ones. And everyone there like smokes after work and is like, there's like a huge culture in trying all the products. And I just felt like I had to keep up this appearance of like, yeah, I smoke and I like all this stuff too and whatever. But I didn't. And it would just feed into this like fear of being lame. And then I don't know how what the like that final realization was, but because I haven't had this experience with many things, but I think like COVID, working at these weed shops, this was all during like the biggest depressive episode of my life. So I think being that low gave me some perspective, and I just realized like I don't care about weed. It clearly doesn't work for me. I don't want to be doing this anymore. And I snapped out of it. I wish I knew how I snapped out of it because I need to do this with a lot of other things in my life. But I finally got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to waste my money trying to smoke weed. I don't want to waste other people's money by them sharing their weed with me when I don't even like it. And I don't like the experiences I've had. Like, I need to be honest with myself. And you know what? Like, if people go out to smoke and I don't join them and that stops us from being close, okay, it is what it is. And if I just miss out on this huge thing, it's okay. It is what it is. And I stopped caring. Then, maybe like a year or two after this, I started working at like a legal, like a gray market weed shop that sold like tobacco and stuff. And the people here smoked like crazy. Like I think everyone was high like all the time, and everyone was smoked together inside, outside, shared it was crazy. It was actually insane how much these guys smoked. And I remember the first time someone offered me a joint and I said no, and I truly did not care. And it was the most freeing feeling of my life. Like, I have been ruled by the fear of FOMO and feeling lame and feeling like uncool. And to actually not give a damn about something was so nice. And the minute I got that perspective and I truly didn't care, I saw a bunch of things I didn't see before. Like the guy that offered me the joint was like, "Oh, there's always somebody like you in these places," and blah blah blah. And I started to realize that, like in Canada, maybe because weed's been legalized, and I think there's like instead of there's like a lot of different things in weed that could make it cool, like terpenes and stuff. But instead of focusing on that, these companies just push out like super high potency stuff, and everyone just wants to get fried. So maybe back in the day, like we could help you chill out and help with like different climatic, different illnesses, different mental states. But I think the move towards like extremely high potent weed is just kind of ruined that. And I think a lot of people don't like weed anymore, but like it's such an action oriented addiction. Like you're so addicted to like the habits formed around weed that people get stuck in it, but they don't really like what they're doing. So me saying, no, I don't want to smoke, I don't smoke and I don't care for it, I started to realize like people would be afraid of me judging them for smoking weed, or like I realized, damn, everyone's really thinking about themselves. Like no one's thinking about me. They're the main character of their story. They're preoccupied with their own anxieties, fears, whatever. They don't care that I'm smoking. And I honestly don't care to be a part of the like smoking conversation. Like I can go out while everyone's smoking and just like be there, or I can just not be a part of it, and you know what's mine will come to me. And damn, like I wish I could apply that feeling and this logic to like all the other things I have FOMO over, but I don't know, I guess it'll happen in steps. But when it finally happened with weed, like it just, what a weight off my shoulders. And now I'm at an age where like I don't want to get addicted to stuff that I know I'm eventually going to have to stop for my health. Like I haven't ever really been into tobacco. Like I've always been that girl that when I would get drunk, I would take a puff of my friend's cigarette, or I'd have like a drunk cigarette. I'd share a cigarette with my friend if we were traveling internationally, but I like never cared to like buy a pack myself. And same logic, like I never really got into vapes. I don't like I don't like gum. So like vapes and the flavoring kind of reminded me of gum. So I wasn't really ever interested in buying one of those either. Like I love shisha, but it's not like I have a shisha pipe at home. I think I love the social aspect of going to like a shisha bar, but I'm not really like into the nicotine. And now I definitely don't care to partake in any of that because I'm like too much into my health journey and my philosophy of like fitness and aging well to care about doing any of that now. Like all the other things that exist, like shrooms and whatever, I've worked at a mushroom shop. I've sold magic mushrooms. So I've had my like fun with that and all these other things. Like I've never really like been addicted to anything. Probably addicted to caffeine. But man, I really need to like think about what that inciting incident was where I finally stopped caring. And I feel like the true test was when that guy offered me a joint when I worked at the gray market weed shop, and I said no, and I was like, wow, I've actually made it this far. It's so nice. It's so nice to not care. It's so nice to like exercise my own real opinion and just be fine with however that lands with all the other people. I just want to feel good about my own decisions and myself. And I really hope that I can do that with the other problems that I have because it's like carrying around a bag of rocks, caring so much about other people's opinions of shit. And weed was like a really awful one. Like I was so afraid of like other people thinking of me a certain way or being like lame. But now I just truly don't care about partaking in that culture at all. Man, I really gotta like explore and kind of maybe backtrack and figure out like how I did this because I want to do it again and again.